The Grand Palace was the most sought-after restaurant in New York. Tables were booked months in advance. The menu could make even the toughest critics surrender, and the chef's genius was as legendary as his temper. Claire Donovan knew that. A food critic for New York Gourmet, her opinion could make or break a restaurant. Claire walked into the restaurant with her head held high, aware that all eyes were on her. The tight black dress hugged her curves, and her red lips made it clear. She was just as dangerous as she was alluring. A waiter led her to the best table in the house, with a perfect view of the open kitchen where Ethan was working. Ethan was already waiting. Those sharp blue eyes pierced through the glass. His apron was tied firmly around his torso, revealing a strong body sculpted by years of commanding an intense kitchen. Sleeves rolled up, his tattooed forearms moved with precision as he prepared the dishes. Claire crossed her legs, a provocative smile playing on her lips. She knew he hated her. Ever since her last review, where she dared to say one of his dishes lacked passion, Ethan had refused all interviews. And now, here she was ready to challenge his ego once again. The dishes began arriving. First course, fresh oysters with champagne foam and caviar. Claire took her time, fully aware of his eyes on her. She let her tongue slide over the oyster before swallowing, a small sigh escaping as the flavor spread across her mouth. Ethan clenched his fists. Main course, black truffle ravioli, finished tableside with golden butter. The aroma made Claire close her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, Ethan was standing next to her, holding a small pan, pouring the butter over the dish. "I hope it meets your standards," he said. She took a bite, locking eyes with him as she tasted it. Then, she slowly licked the corner of her lips. Perfect. But something's still missing. His eyes darkened with challenge. "Oh, and what would that be?" Claire set her utensils down. "Passion." The world around them disappeared. The silent war between them was morphing into something else. Something dangerous. Something inevitable. Dinner ended. But Claire didn't leave the restaurant. She couldn't. Not when Ethan pulled her into the kitchen the moment the last guest left. "You want passion?" he murmured, pressing her against the cool marble counter, his body hot against hers. She should have said no. She should have resisted. But when he grabbed her waist and their lips finally met, all sense of reason vanished. The kiss was raw, desperate. His hands explored her back, pulling her even closer. The kitchen, once Ethan's sacred space, became the setting for forbidden desire. Claire felt the cold marble beneath her as Ethan pushed up her dress, his fingers tracing over her exposed skin, sending shivers through her body. "You think my food lacks passion?" he whispered against her neck, grazing it with his teeth. She gasped, gripping him tighter. "Prove me wrong." And he did. Every touch, every kiss, every movement was a challenge being answered. And that night, the kitchen of the Grand Palace saw the birth of a new dish. After that night, there was no turning back. Claire and Ethan started a dangerous game. Secret meetings between his shifts, bold texts sent while she attended events, and he worked through dinner service. Wild encounters in his office, while orders piled up outside. But desire wasn't enough to erase their rivalry. "Aren't you going to make me something special tonight?" she teased once, lying naked in his bed, tracing his jaw with her fingertips. "After last time, you trashed my dessert in your review." She laughed, rolling over him.